recording is on.
Excellent. So good evening, one and all, Toastmasters and guests for our 9th edition of Wasl Talks. Today we talk about the mental health at work. October 10 is the World Mental Health Day. It's a good to check it out, our mental health. Reviewing like our checking the medical status, it's too good to have verified our mental health as well. So today's speaker with us is a senior professional with over 24 years of experience across the Middle East, US, UK, and India. She has a proven track record of creating strategic and engaging initiatives tailored to business and communication goals, aligned to employee wellness and the organization's mission. She is currently working as a senior corporate communications consultant and people and engagement specialist at Mendra Care. That's her views on the importance of mental health at work. Let me introduce today's speaker for the day, mental health at work, Sonaal V Chhibber. Sonaal, now the virtual stage is for you. Let us take through our mental health status.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Salim and Wasl Talks for giving me the opportunity to speak about a very vital topic, which is mental health at work. And as Salim has already introduced me to you all, so I do work with, Mantra Care, and I work as senior corporate communications consultant and people and engagement specialist. So Mantra Care is a platform, as you can see the tagline, which says, transforming workplaces and empowering lives. So my transition to, the wellness field has been, it's been a long journey because I started as a banker. I worked with Citibank, and then I went into education field with GEMS Education, and then I went into media field as editor-in-chief and journalist. But then, the pandemic changed everything because, in pandemic, there was a lot of stress at workplaces, and it really pained me to see, the employees were forcing the employees to come every day, even though, the situation was not right. So that made me think, if, I cannot change, certain things, then I have to learn and equip myself to be well, and to motivate others to be well and mentally fit at the workplace. And that's why I did a lot of wellness courses like NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, to train my mind to stay positive in every situation, then Reiki and many other courses. And finally, I thought, let me join an organization which not only equips the employees in the companies, but makes everybody think positive about themselves, about the situation, because pandemic was a grim situation for which we all were not prepared. So from there my journey started, and today I'm working with Mantra Care, and I'm with you all to share my views on this vital topic. So before I begin, and as you know, we will be discussing about building a stress-free workplace, because I know a lot of workplaces are toxic. So firstly, I want to know, what is mental health? So if you can, type in the chat box, like, what comes to you when I say mental health? What conspires in you? Anything, you can just type in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. So you all are like more or less correct, because when we think of mental health, it, speaks about stress, anxiety, depression, sadness, problem. And if it is prolonged, then it leads to illness. Um, so what is workplace mental health? We always speak about mental health, but is mental health, like we were speaking before the call, we were, generally speaking that mental health where we are talking about mental health, be it at home place or at the workplace. So I am focusing mental health because we all are professionals at the workplace. And I think workplace mental health refers to emotional, psychological, and social well being of employees. So, maintaining a healthy workplace involves balancing, employee mental health with the demands of the job. So, that is, I've spoken about it in brief. But what causes, the this stress in the workplace? It could be, insecurity. It could be, uh, not treating everybody equally. There could be gender bias. There could be, it cannot be a situation which is perfect. So the inclusivity or the inclusion is not there, because certain people are challenged. So creating a workplace which suits everybody, because we have all types of professionals, and especially in Dubai we have expats from all over the world. They come with their different nationalities, sometimes different baggage, different skills. So the idea is to utilize their skills at the optimal level, rather than focusing on their weaknesses, or their gender, or the pay parity. So these all points create the mental imbalance in the office. And how the stress affects the workplace. Like, we can always say, okay, stress is there, everybody's stressed these days, so what is the big deal? But then it is a big deal, because it not only affects an individual, because it affects the workplace as well. Because before being a employee, we are a human, so before we join any organization, we are human first. We have our emotions, and we deserve to be treated well, and we deserve to be in a conducive environment where everybody's heard, everybody's respected. So how stress affects the workplace? You can see it, it leads to productivity fall. As WHO also says, the companies lose in millions because of non-productivity of employees, which happens due to their depression, being depressed, or being mentally ill. So many employees are forced to leave their jobs, and sometimes they're at a high position, so it affects the companies, because it's not easy to replace an employee. So then they realize, okay, we should have treated that employee well, but then it's too late, because employee goes into illness and the company goes into chaos. So it leads to high employee turnover, absenteeism. So many times we get up in the morning as professionals, and we don't like to go to work, which is very sad. I mean, we should look forward to go to our workplaces, but sometimes it happens we don't want to go, and we will be stressed there, and nobody wants to be stressed, everybody wants to be happy. So sometimes we make a reason that now today we are not feeling well, and sometimes that is not also taken in a good way by the companies, because they don't understand what does it mean to say I'm not feeling well, to come to the office. They force you to go, and then you go, and then you are in a turmoil. The company is not benefiting, because of course you are not productive in this state. So how to reduce the stress at work? So this is very important, and I would say the stress would be reduced if, like I said earlier, the employees are heard, they are given the chance to speak about their grievances. There is a supportive colleagues and bosses, wherein one can open up and talk about, not create a stigma, like that, I need some help, but talk openly. So there should be flexible schedule as well. Thanks to COVID, I mean, if it didn't do anything good, it was a blessing in disguise, because now we have hybrid way of working, we have remote settings in many companies, which supports the employee well-being. Because certain days, if they want to take an off and or work from home, they have that option. That flexible schedule is there, unlike before COVID, when we were going all 5 days to the office. Now I find people are more happier when they have a hybrid or a remote working schedule. and because they can create that work life balance, which is very important. And then there has to be, implementation of workplace wellness programs. I mean, I won't be surprised in times to come there would be, a dedicated counselor or a grievance cell in every organization, like we have right now in schools. We have these counselors where students go or the teachers go, but in organizations we just have an HR. But the HR is not equipped professionally to deal with mental problems, and the employees are also not that forthcoming to speak to the HR about the mental trauma they are going through. So I won't be surprised in times to come there would be a dedicated mental health professional or an expert in every office. I think it should be that way, because we need that, a time or a dedicated professional wherein we can speak about our worries, our traumas, because it will help the organization and the employee as well. So there has to be wellness programs that include access to counseling, stress relief activities, and mental health days. And these programs provide a support system for employees facing mental health challenges. I mean, now, like we celebrate Women's Day or, Father's Day or something, there has to be, more celebration of mental health days, wherein there are workshops, wherein, sometimes an off is given to the employees to, celebrate their life, celebrate who they are, which will be very beneficial, I believe. So the role of leadership in this is very important, because unless the leaders or the top bosses of the companies believe that we need to do something about stress management, then this won't come about, because leaders set the example, they lead by example, I would say. And they have to have that empathy and compassion towards their employees, so that they can perform better. And they have to prioritize mental well-being of all employees to create a culture which is very productive for everybody, so that the employee benefits and the company benefits as well. Because when the employee is happy, they will be very productive, and the company will benefit in the long run. So it's not a short term goal, it's a long term goal. And I believe the leaders should be taking a very deep interest into this subject and do something about it, so that their company soars. So, what do I mean by encouraging a supportive work culture? So, I would say building a support culture is, it happens when there is a team collaboration, there is a peer support, and there are regular check ins. I mean, like when a new employee joins, we, keep a senior employee with that employee to guide him through for some days, you know but we don't have anybody. Once the employee settles in, we just forget about that employee. So there should be regular check-ins. I mean, after 3 months or 6 months, there could be a buddy who goes and asks, how is it going for you and what can I do for you. That kind of system we don't have at present. So if we create that kind of system, then the employees will be more resilient, because they will feel connected and supported by their peers and their higher ups also. So we have to start building a stress free workplace, tools, or you can say an environment wherein, wellness is promoted. It's not treated as a stigma or something which doesn't need to be talked about, because certain times it's considered as, weakness, or the employees are afraid that if they voice their opinion, they will be considered unproductive. But it shouldn't be that way, because everybody goes through the phases. They might lose someone at home, or something else might happen, and like we are all from different places, so something must, sometimes something conspires in our homeland and we need to take care of it. But that doesn't mean that forever we'll be depressed or forever we will be sad. If the company invested in us, or if the company trusts us, then we will also, give 100%, and it will be a well-rounded, environment for everybody. So I will say mental health is just as important as physical health and deserves the same quality of support. So if you all of you agree to that, then I want a Y in the chat box, which is yes, or N, which is no. Do you think the mental health deserves the equal importance we give to physical health? I want to hear from you as well. Okay. So that's good. All of you believe that it deserves the same importance as physical health. Okay. So right now I spoke about all the tips or everything which the employers can do from their end to make the employees feel, protected, safe. But what can the employees do themselves, So this is what employees can do. These are 5 quick tips which employees can use. Firstly, they can, utilize employee assistant programs. Like many employers offer free confidential counseling services. So once an employee joins, they get, a, a book about what the company is all about. They can ask the HR at that time or later on that, do you have any, counseling services as well? Whenever I need, I can avail of that. And if they do, then do avail, those services, which are very vital. Second of all, they can practice mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Like in the break time, they can take short breaks, they can take over the day, but during the lunch time, after having their lunch, they can take a walk, go out, because we all, stay in that AC environment. We need fresh air. So if the lunch time happens, that is a good opportunity for you to take a stroll, go out and have some fresh air, and then come back rejuvenated. And also, I mean, many offices nowadays have these they have these gyms or yoga programs. So you should engage in physical activity as well. If there is nothing like that in your organization, then climbing up the stairs instead of taking the elevator, or parking your car at a distance so that you can walk to the office. These are like basic or simple tips wherein it leads to mood enhancement if you be physically fit. And then you can set your boundaries for self care. Like weekends, you can say, I don't want any official mail or calls, and stick to that, because weekends are for family, it is for family time. So you should have, these set boundaries unless there is a emergency situation. Nobody should disturb you with constant calls or emails disturbing your family life. So that should be very clearly communicated to your supervisors or bosses. And then, I mean, last would be to seek professional help. Don't hesitate to reach out. I mean, if you need help, you can inform your office that, I am going for a short therapy. So maybe for 1 or 2 days, maybe I'll work from home, or, I'll take those holidays. So you shouldn't shy away from that, or giving some excuses, because you should tell them that mental health is a priority. And if you need that break, instead of giving excuses, you should directly ask, and whether the company can suggest you a counseling center where they have an affiliation, you can go there, or the company can have certain counseling programs within, so you can do that. Otherwise, you can visit your own counselor and inform your supervisor about it. So there should be no considering it as a sham or considering it as a stigma. You should normalize mental health issues instead of making them a big taboo for everybody. So like I said in the beginning, you are a human first before you are an employee. So your mental health matters a lot, and it should matter a lot. So what does mental well-being help you with? It helps you with realizing your abilities, coping up with normal stresses in life, work productively and fruitfully, and have positive emotions, thoughts, and perceptions. And then, contribute to the community, like I told you about me. Like, I learned these courses, I joined an organization who dealt with wellness and corporate programs, and now not only I feel, happier, I can help others as well. So I can, help the community at large. So, but for that, first you have to help yourself become mentally fit. So that is the, first and foremost requirement. You have to be mentally fit to be, to able to generate happiness for your family members or your colleagues or the society at large. So I would, end my presentation by, this saying that mental health at work is not a luxury. It's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. When we care for our minds, we care for our work, our teams, and our future. It has to, benefit both the employees and the workplace and the corporate as well. So mental health is not a luxury, I would say it's a necessity. So just type in the box, chat box, and say if you feel it is a luxury, then L. If you think it's a necessity, then N. I want to know from you, because we are the change makers. We are all professionals. If our, thinking and views will go ahead, then companies will change. They will think about it as well. Good. So it is a necessity. I'm glad you all agree with me that it's no more a luxury. So that's all for now. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, you then go ahead. I'll answer that as well. Thank you.